After about 40 minutes of that, we'll open it up to questions from the audience. And if you've got questions, go ahead and write them on the cards that Jan and Van have, and that way we can kind of sort them, and then we'll ask those and give everybody a chance to answer. No, yeah, I think not. And then the next part of that is how I'd like to start with each of the candidates is I'll give you a 2-minute introduction. What I'd like is each of you to stand up, include in your introduction what you think the primary responsibilities of the position are, and what in your background relates to making you the best candidate for that position. And we'll start with on right to left, and we'll just go down the row, and then we'll alternate later. Okay, Jean?
In 2 minutes.
2 minutes. And Lisa has got a flashcard. She's going to give you an idea of where you're at in time.
And when we say time, be considerate of other candidates and try to stop. I know it's hard though when you're in the middle of a sentence.
Okay. I'm Jean Cochran. I'm a candidate for Cook County Commissioner Precinct 1. And I forgot what questions you told me to ask.
So, primary responsibilities of the position and what your background make you the best candidate.
Okay. Primary responsibilities are, there's several. Set tax rates, which I've done. Manage multi-million-dollar budgets, which I've done. I have 19-year plus experience doing all these things. Setting water, sewer, and garbage rates, which I've done. Subdivision plan approval, I've done. Road plans, I've approved. I have designed, built, and maintained multiple parks in the community center. And part of the responsibility of a commissioner is to maintain all of the county buildings. Again, like I said, I have over 19 years experience doing the same type of work that a county commissioner does.
Very good, thank you.
You did good.
My name is John Featherston. I think that the duties and responsibility of the commissioner is basically you're running a business, it's a financial thing, watching over the finances, you've got to maintain the infrastructure of it. And then occasionally there's things that gets a little ticklish that you've got to work with too and work with everybody, so it's a little bit of a negotiation too. This lovely lady back here is my wife. I'm just tell a little bit about myself now. We were both raised, on separate farms out in West Texas. Our dad was cotton farmers. And so we've got a lot of values that we picked up from the cotton farm. We still have the farm, I've managed the farm for years. I retired after 32 years with a company that was in the computer. We basically did computer systems, and our customer were city, county, and state governments. And I've got a lot of experience. I got 32 years working with these all over the country. I'm currently on the AMUD board. We lived here for 16 years. I live in Lake Cordova. I'm a past president, and I was on several committees there. I'm also on the finance committee for AMUD. I'm very family oriented. We've got high Christian values. And I've got 30 seconds. So I can't talk a lot about that. We're active in the church. I volunteer for Mission Grandeur. And plus I've been to, I can't even name all the seminars I've been to on management, on negotiations, all of that. Plus I've got certificates of completion for open meetings, for open records, and for investing public funds. That should be my 30 seconds.
Thank you.
My name is Kelly Van Buren, and I've lived here in Hood County for 13 years, and a little over 13 years. And what I think as well done in pointing out that I really think that the next county commissioners, whoever they are, whether you vote for me or one of my counterparts, I want you get out of life what you expect, and I want us to expect more and not tolerate less. Whether I don't want to just as Mr. Featherston said, yes, it is part of sustaining our budget and creating a budget that makes sense. But I think our Commissioners Court can do so much more in terms of being an ambassador for the county. And as I said before at the Republican Women's Club, we need to amend relationships and cultivate relationships with Austin, with TxDOT. We're growing so fast, and we've got so many issues that we're getting ready to face as a county. Our county commissioners have got to do more. I have been involved in oil and gas as an entrepreneur. I've won, I've lost. I like to say I've learned, but in 6 different states, building multimodal rail facilities, negotiating with Halliburton and many others, production companies. I'm also, I invest in real estate, and so I understand the dynamics of real estate. You know, and the big thing with me is I have a lot of good relationships, both with City Council, the Commissioners Court, and at a state level. So that's why I feel like it's critical to have good relationships to get things done and do them in a responsible way. I too am a Christian. And I believe conservative values can go hand in hand with common sense and sound judgment. And I believe I have those. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Bruce White. I've been a Hood County resident for 42 years here. I graduated high school in 1983 here. My grandfather started a paving and construction company here in 1969, and me and my dad and my family moved here in '74. And I worked with them my whole life until 2012 when we sold out. I understand the commissioners involves budgets and road, preparing the roads and budgets and policies and stuff. And being in business and learning as a kid growing up, I have a lot of different types of knowledge about budgeting and working with crews. I've organized many crews. I've worked from anywhere from small residential jobs to multi-million-dollar developments with developers. My family, we've built many of these developments that you all see around here in this county, and I believe that I'd be a good choice for a county commissioner because I believe I know the people of this county. Because when you grow up here, you learn the culture and the people and how they think and act and stuff. And I just want to say thank you and for the opportunity to speak to y'all.
Thank you very much. Okay, so next part will just be some questions that we've kind of put together as a group that relate to the county overall. And we'll kick it off with Melanie Graff. Let her ask the first question. And we'll start with Mr. Featherston. Let him answer first, and then we'll go back around. All right. Whatever you're comfortable with.
Where is that?
As you know, the current Hood County Commissioners voted to raise taxes, increase spending, and provide raises for themselves.
I can't understand what you're saying.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you.
Okay. As you know, the current Hood County Commissioners voted to raise taxes, increase spending, and provide raises for themselves. How would you propose to reduce taxes and spending?
I'm sorry, I can't work out.
Okay. How would you propose to reduce taxes and spending?
Okay. That's my whole philosophy, or one of my priorities would be economic expansion. And I think what you do is you expand the economy. That would be the best way to do it. That's not right. I'd rather raise taxes by making this more valuable place to live, so you're not raising taxes, you're raising revenue. Your tax rate should be figured on M&O plus debt service. And that's where you figure your tax rate. Okay? So property values would help that.
There's a second part to the question as well. As you are probably aware, the current economy in Texas is being negatively impacted by falling oil prices, and as such, the average taxpayer's pocketbook is being stretched thinner and thinner. What are your thoughts on voting in raises for yourself when raising taxes? What are your thoughts on voting in raises for yourself while raising taxes?
I'm sorry. I'm not.
So when the current commissioners, they increased taxes and voted for raises for themselves as well. So what's your opinion on that?
I don't like that at all. When I decided to run, I was sort of pushed into it. I didn't even realize the job paid. I figured it might pay something, but, you know, to me, I'm not looking for a career. I'll take the money, but I really don't need the money. I mean, I'm not rich, but you know, it's not a thing like, only thing I can say about what you do is, really, you're gonna have to work awful hard to deserve the money you're paid now.
Kelly, you good with the question still, or you want to
Yeah,
repeat it?
well, to go backwards, I think when, as elected officials, again, having your thumb on the pulse of our local and state and national economy, it sends a wrong message to folks. If you're here for the long term to make the right decisions that create a legacy for us all, it sends the wrong message, in my opinion. I don't know if most of those guys need an extra 3%, but that's my opinion. And then as it relates to keeping taxes low, I agree with Mr. Featherston. You've got to keep your revenue top of mind. And one of the things I thought about doing is first of all, there's always there's some trimming in the budget. There's always some areas where there's fat to be cut, where you can get more efficient in certain areas. That's the first place I would look, is to find some greater efficiencies within our own budget. The second thing is be able to look at what we can leverage as a city and as a county to create an identity where we can attract people here, the people that we want to live around and enjoy time with. Everybody's talked about, and I've been a part of that Jerry Durant, that industrial complex out there. Like I've said before, I've taken some slings and arrows on this, but I think it'd be a good idea, if he's open to it, for us at some point to do a South by Southwest kind of thing out there, kind of like what Austin does. Not like Austin does, but something similar, where we can attract 4th of July type numbers here to Granbury and organize our civil services around here. And that's how I think we can generate a lot of revenue. If you do that 2 or 3 times a year, it generates a lot of revenue. So that's my thoughts on that.
As far as the raises that went for commissioners, that they gave themselves this time, if the county is in such a strain for money and stuff like that, I really don't think it was a good thing for the commissioners to give themselves a raise. I know that the commissioners do a lot of hard work. I mean, their job is extremely difficult, I know, at times, because of all the different issues they have to put on. But I know if the money's not there, we need to just try to keep your salaries down, but you also need to try to reward the other employees that really deserve it. And that's just what I think about that. And as far as the taxes and stuff, yeah, keeping the property values up and stuff like that, we need to work on and get industry in the county to where we can get more tax dollars through getting more tax money in that way. But I also know that we need to try to figure out how to generate some industrial stuff too here. Thank you.
After elected, my plan is to sit with each department head and go through the budget. I've gone through the budget. I see places where I think we might could cut some corners, but I want to sit with those department heads and see what they think about that budget. I was approached this week by one of the county commissioners asking me why I had said, well, they gave themselves a raise. The comment was, well, if we don't give ourselves a raise, then we can't give a raise to all the other elected officials. So are you going to be the one that says no to all the elected officials? My thought is, again, I know, kind of put me on the spot, didn't they? But look at the budget and see if there is room for that raise. And maybe some of the elected officials deserve the raise more than the county commissioners. But looking at the budget, I feel real strong that there are places that we could possibly cut in the budget. I am definitely for looking to bring in industrial. But again, if we're doing something like that, then we've got to look at our infrastructure, which may end up costing more money. So there's a lot that we need to look at.
We're ready for the next.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this one's about illegal immigration. And here's some background. As you know, the federal government, under the current administration, has condoned and encouraged illegal immigrants to flood into the country. Even the head of the FBI has said there's no way the government can properly vet all these people. Question: what is your position regarding the resettlement of refugees into Hood County and the housing of illegal immigrants in Hood County? Part one. And part two, do you think the federal government has the right to compel us to accept those illegal immigrants?
I don't like it and no. I mean, I don't like that and no. I mean, and again, that is a fairly complicated question that has a lot of levers and moving parts that go above and beyond a county commissioner. But nonetheless, that role, again, what I want to be is an ambassador for our county and to leverage relationships and to figure out how we can be the best we can be. And doing something like that and having that forced upon us where people are not properly vetted. I have no problem with Mexicans or people from Pakistan or whatever. If they come here and they abide by our laws and they do what's right. But when you don't vet these people and you're going to force them upon us and our system of government where we got to pay for that with their education, with our first responders, with our hospital services, go on and on and on. I've got a serious problem with that. It has nothing to do with the people that are coming here, but we need a better system to take care of that. I have a very good friend, a dear friend, that's come here from South Africa, and he's asked nothing from no one. And he's had the most difficult time getting through and getting citizenship here. And he's a class act. You're going to hear him. Some of you may have met him on Thursday, and he'll be here again next month to talk. So that's how I pay you the compliment of being blunt.
Yeah, as far as the refugee stuff, I don't agree with the government pushing them out, pushing it on us, because I mean, there's so much terrorism going on in the world today. We don't know who we can trust and who you can't, you know, because, I mean, everybody's seen that the people in California, they were out in the neighborhoods and doing good things, you know, people didn't know it. The next thing you know, they started shooting up everybody. So, no, I don't agree they ought to be easily, you know, you should be able to come to this country. You should not be able to, it needs to be, I guess the system needs to be reworked somehow where they can be better checking of backgrounds and stuff. And I don't know what the answer to that is, but I don't agree with the government just saying, here they are, they're coming, so y'all got to take care of them.
I think Kelly said it right. I don't agree with illegals coming here. We can't go to Mexico illegally. So why should they be allowed to come here illegally? And some of you know what I do for a living, and I'm the one that gets the call from Mission Granbury when we have somebody locally that needs a place to live or that needs help. So we should use what funds we have to help Americans, not the illegals.
I find this a very complicated question, and I sort of agree. I don't want them here, and I would vote against them coming here. But we've also got some kind of responsibility, you know, if they're being murdered, and you know, it's not an easy question. But I'd rather for us as a government to support, you know, refugees or something like that and help them in some other place.
As you know, the last Commissioners Court had trouble gaining control over the library director in relation to a county-funded library. How would you propose to proceed with your responsibility to the public in reining in unelected bureaucrats?
First of all, if you're talking about, you know, the books and stuff in the library like that, I don't agree with the literature that's in the books and stuff like that. But I also know that our Constitution guarantees us the freedom of right to speak and the press. And our Constitution protects that. But our Constitution also gives us the right to change policies, procedures, and laws. You know, I just think that as a Christian, I have a problem with it, but I understand it's a very difficult question for the commissioners to deal with. I hope the next librarian that comes in, that she understands more about this, the culture in the community more, and be more sensitive to what goes on here in this county. And as far as you know, I really don't have the perfect answer for that, you know, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
One of the reasons I'm running for county commissioner is I'm a God-fearing woman. And my strong Christian beliefs make it hard for me to understand why our commissioner would agree to leave a book that graphically describes, and I have the books here, the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender lifestyle in the children's section. They weren't asked to ban the books. They weren't asked to censor the books. Only move the books to a more appropriate age section where the parents have the right to give that child that book, and they didn't. The librarian works for the county commissioners, and they should have had a say. It should never have gotten to this point.
Okay, I think that subjects like this is between a parent and a child and not for the government to decide on them. But this is where you take your negotiation skills and say, let's move those books over to the parenting section and get them out of that. I think that would, be that. I have not seen the books, I have not read them, so I can't make a real determination on that. But if they're like we're talking about there, I think you should put them in the parenting section because I think diversity is important, but it's not the government's point or our point to teach it.
I know many of you, I've talked to many of you, and to sit here, and it's easy for me to get on your side. It's like throwing fresh meat to a bunch of lions. I disagree with it as well. But if I listen to your question, is how would I deal with elected bureaucrats that are pushing agendas down our neck? First and foremost, I would listen to you. I would listen to you, and I would hear what my constituents are telling me, what their feelings are. And yes, I've got opinions. You better believe it. And they're founded in Christ. And I'm going to stand up for what I believe, which again, I'm surprised that we didn't have a better outcome than that. Okay, it's nothing personal against those guys. A couple of them were friends of mine. Okay, after all, lest we forget, Peter denied Christ 3 times before the rooster crowed when the heat was on. Okay, so it's nothing personal. We hold those guys accountable, and we can't just let them do those kinds of things, especially when it's representing us. So I hope I've answered your question. I'm first going to listen to you guys and give due process its turn. But we just can't let that kind of stuff run into us when we don't want it.
Y'all are really being fast, aren't you?
Let me hand it to you so you're close by.
Can I ask a follow-up to that?
Sure.
Robert Carter, I feel like I hear a lot of people talking about these LGBT books and in the kids section and versus moving on to the parent section. And my question, just from a fiscal standpoint, why is the county spending money buying gay books, putting the library off? And do you support the decision they made there to fund those alternative lifestyle books inside of our public library? I would just ask that to the crowd there.
Does that mean I go first?
You're holding the mic.
Thank you. I'm not sure why they're in the library. I guess, and again, it's the library board that approves these books.
But it's we that pay for it.
I totally understand. And if I had been on the board, I would not have approved the books.
a good question, but the situation that I see on it, or the thing that I see, is that there are always going to be books in the library that you don't agree with. So a library is for that, is for knowledge, is for looking at things. So you really, I would like to, I mean, I think the book should be there. I just wonder about the section they're in, because you really want a library that's got, you know, you can go on the internet and find everything too, but I don't know what the books are. I don't want, you know, pornography there. But if it's an alternate lifestyle, well, maybe I'd like it soft pedaled, but it should be there. I don't think we should censor what's in our library.
It is a slippery slope when you begin to do that kind of stuff. There's a rich history of people that do certain things with books. It is a very, very slippery slope, and would I support something like that? I think, as I've said before, heterosexuals have done more to defile the institution that God created and defined. So we got to be real careful. And I haven't seen these books. I don't know exactly. I know the content, but I haven't looked at them myself. And personally, I don't think it's right. It's not something. I have 2 young girls. I don't want to have to answer and talk about that. I would hope that any person, regardless of their sexual orientation, where they're from, and whatever, they would exercise a certain element of discretion and understand when others don't want to see those types of things. So I think as an elected official, you need to be real careful in blocking out a small portion of our community. And it's something that really needs to be looked at before you just start telling people no. And so it's a slippery slope, and I would have to look at it by a case-by-case basis and become more familiar with the books.
As a Christian, I have a problem with the books, and I understand that the library has got many kinds of different types of information in there. There's other than those books, the LGBT books are in there. There's other information there that I don't agree with, but I know as a parent we should try to protect our child or our grandchildren. You know, I don't want to have to explain to my grandbaby why this book is in there. You know, she opens it up and sees these pictures. I'm very uncomfortable with it there. I know that we can't just start throwing stuff out of the library because the Constitution protects it, but I would like to see those books, you know, where 7-year-olds or 4-year-olds, or, you know, can't just go over there and pick it up. I mean, you know, this is my personal Christian belief. I can't waver from it. I have friends that are gay, and we have a very good relationship. I talk to them. I love them, because I know the Bible says to love them also, and I do love them. And we're here to educate also, we're not here to judge and condemn anybody. We are here to educate them, and it's my responsibility as a parent and grandparent is to protect my child and my grandbaby from it. And that's one reason why I don't agree with them being there. And that's just my opinion. Thank you.
Can I get a rebuttal?
Sure, you go right ahead.
No, I just want to say, I didn't say ban the books or censor the books. If I had to have a choice of ordering those books or not, I would not have ordered the books. But once they're there, I'm not saying ban or censor, I'm saying move them to a more age-appropriate section.
And let me dovetail on that. So want to make sure you guys are comfortable with the questions in terms of, the questions aren't to attack anybody, it's to give you opportunities. One, when we drafted the questions is to kind of give some background of how do you see the governing principles of our constitutional republic interplaying with these issues. And you guys have done a pretty good job for the most part. Just want to, so it's not just a matter of personal opinion, but like what Robert Carter mentioned is how do you balance the will of the majority without offending the minority, or how do you justify taking the taxes from everyone when the clear majority doesn't approve of something like that? So just in general, so the questions are designed to give you an opportunity to express different principles of our republic and how you think those work in terms of the county commissioners. Does that make it more better or worse?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Can I have another follow-up question?
Sure, go right ahead.
So the next librarian, some of y'all get elected and y'all hire another librarian, and she orders pornographic books and puts them in the library. You're in the same conundrum. Would you remove the pornographic books and go against the Constitution? Or not?
pornographic books are regular, I mean, you can't go to Stop and Go, and they're not somewhere. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, right there, right there.
Can I just add something?
I'm not exactly sure how much further off we're being. And this is sitting in the little kid section. Is this a whole lot different than a lot of pornography?
I had spoken with an
No,
attorney.
it's alarming. I mean, that's not something I would want to explain to
This
my
is in
kids.
the little kid section if you haven't seen it.
I spoke with an attorney about this when this was happening, and he said he wasn't sure why there was an issue, because that's what a library board is for. They're not there to censor or burn books. What they're there for is to decide what comes in that library and what stays out of that library. And so it's not an issue, and if the community doesn't want the books, they don't have to have the books. I'm not going and living over at Turtle Creek and demanding that they believe the way I want to. So I don't know why they're coming here and demanding the same. I came here because it was a conservative community, a Bible Belt community, and that's where I wanted my children to be. I didn't choose to go to Turtle Creek, so if they don't like it here, they can move to Turtle Creek.
Okay, one of the things I want to do is that it looks like we've kind of hit on a sensitive subject, so we'll open it up a little bit. I think we got a couple of questions along with that. Van, you had a question in regards to follow up on this, and then Melanie.
Yeah, one of the things that you missed in Melanie's question was unelected bureaucrats. The unelected bureaucrats, that's your library board. They are self-perpetuating. Would you guys be open to making the library board elected, maybe 2 from each voter precinct, and get a representation of the people, not just a self-perpetuating bunch of bureaucrats?
So, give each one of you 30 seconds on that one.
Yeah, I would support discussion around that. I don't see why that's unreasonable.
I just hate to see running for office and everything. This is probably the first office I ever ran for. And it's sort of scary running that, and I understand the question, and I think if that's the only way that you get the people input and the people that's into the office, that you want in the office as the general public, that would be a way to go. I'd like to see a different other way than to have elections and all of that, but I think that actually the people that's doing that should be representative of the people and not representative of the Commissioner's Court.
Okay. Jean?
And I do agree with having an election.
I think we all agree that, it would be an election. That way, it would be for people making that decision. It's not for 4 guys or however many, 4 commissioners having to make that decision for the whole county. I think it would